podcast, doing a solo episode here to preview the Sitka Blacktail season. It's been a lot of fun this summer. Been pretty busy with the podcast, and it's been nice to be able to go 2 podcasts per week. Had a lot of really entertaining people from both Alaska and non, so I had enough people I could have my Tuesday podcast be with someone from the lower 48, and then on the Thursday podcast, that was the Alaskan. Just fun to talk to people from the different parts of the state and to see what their program is and the necessary toys, and the 3 episodes I did with the guys from the Alaska Wild Project. That was a lot of fun because they're part of the Alaska Wild Project, but then you piece them out and talk to them individually. That was a lot of fun. So it's been a great summer, a lot of great guests and pretty fun. So now it's back to a solo episode here to preview my plan for Sitka Blacktail. It can be a little bit confusing when the season starts because someone will post a picture. A buddy of mine from Unit 2 or Prince of Wales Island will post a picture of a buck that they got the last week of July. And there's confusion because people think that the season opens on August 1st, which it does. So then you have to go into explain this whole federally qualified versus non-federally qualified thing. And so here's what in the Blacktail forums, people are asking questions about this. And so actually the best way to get this information is to talk to a trooper if you're going to hunt, or to go to the Fish and Game. Just that you're not citing some podcast, you're not citing someone on Facebook as to what you need to do. So to kind of clarify, hopefully it should clarify, see if I can say this correctly and directly. The season opens on August 1st and runs until December 31st. You can get $4. However, state land and federal land have a little bit of a different regulation because the federal regulations allow federally qualified hunters to hunt a week before the season starts, and then non-federally qualified hunters can't hunt until the 16th on federal land. So if you are a non-federally qualified, if you are not from the state or you're not from a rural area of Alaska, you cannot hunt federal land on Prince of Wales Island until the 16th of August. If you are hunting on state land, then it doesn't matter. You can the season starts the 1st, and you're all good to go. So there's a little bit of confusion sometimes. There's always seems to be someone who's posting in the forums and is asking for advice about where to go, and they've booked their tickets for the opener, but then you got to say, well, if you're going for the opener, then that's great, but you can't be hunting federal land because that's your non-qualified user. There are some areas, or there is a section of land south part of Prince of Wales where you can hunt federal land on the 1st. But again, just check out those if you are listening from somewhere else and you're in the final stages of planning, or you want to come up next year to hunt. Just know the difference between the state land and then the federal land. Tongass National Forest, of course, federal. So if you're looking to come up and hunt the Tongass, you won't be able to hunt that on Prince of Wales Island until the 16th of August. So just have that in mind. But if you are planning that hunt, gosh, man, the locals really get excited about it. And it's a good time. The last 3 years, I've run the same opening day program, and it's not on Prince of Wales. So that whole federal thing doesn't really matter for this part of the podcast. But if you are looking to hunt Prince of Wales because it's so popular, because it's been in a lot of content, people are going up there doing the flyouts, doing the shows, doing stuff like that, it's going to make a lot of people hunt Prince of Wales, I'm sure. So, but there are definitely other areas to hunt as well. So my program the last 3 years has been the same. 3 years ago, I went up with a buddy. Actually 2 buddies, and it was super, super hot a week before the opener, and then the opener, it was just as hot. And by that point, there was so little water, and the deer were running this program where they would only move a little bit pre-dawn. We kind of rolled out of the tents, and then we were just glassing down the ridge a little bit, and we saw 3 deer, one of which was a nice little 3x. Just kind of go up and over the ridge, and that was it. It was like right at the timberline, and it was a pretty thin ridge, and they just went up and over, and that's the only deer that we saw. It was just too hot. So that whole day we just glass, nothing too hot. And so we went down the mountain. The next 2 days it rained terribly, which was awesome. So we hunted some lower areas, and then we went back that same mountain. So it was actually the fourth, I think, by this point. And the weather broke, and the deer popped, and it was awesome. It was exactly what hope or imagine, that the sun comes up, or the sun is up, it's light, but it's stormy. The storm breaks, the sun comes out, the deer pop, and then a buddy of mine, he was just looking at this bedded 3x3, and there was a really nice tall forky that was just up the bowl from that, and he was just sitting on that 3x, and I said, all right, well, I'm going to sneak around, and you make the shot on the 3x whenever it stands up, and then I'll try to find the forky. And so I'm working my way around the backside of this ridge, and then I get to a spot where I can kind of peek over the bowl and just hear it, boom, I hear the shot. And so I'm looking for that. I peek over, look for that forky. I see it, shoot him. So we shot 2 deer in about, a minute, which was sweet. Then the next year, which was 2 years ago, I took a buddy to the same spot. And fortunately, it had been pretty dry and warm, but then it had rained the day before. So as we hiked up to the mountain to get to our spot, it was raining. And, oh man, it filled up all those little high muskeg little puddles where there's water, made everything fresh and everything lush again. And so the next morning, we jumped 2 bucks on our way to the spot that we wanted to get to. And then he shot one and took a couple pictures, and then I went down the ridge a little bit and I shot one. So it was great. So that was kind of the plan for last year. Thought, we've been taking $2 a year off this thing. It's going to be great to go up there solo. But then I only saw one forky. It had been pretty warm, but not so hot that they should have been in that kind of hunker down program. So I ended up seeing one try to make a stalk, and it blew out, and that was the only one. So on the way down to the truck, I saw a small little forky, and I took that and punched the first tag. So I'm going to go to a different spot today, or this year, because
after years of fine print contracts and getting ripped off by big wireless providers, if we've learned anything, it's that there's always a catch. So when I first heard that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless starting at just $15 a month, I thought, what's the catch? But after talking to them and using their service, it all made sense. There isn't one. Mint Mobile's secret sauce is that they're the first company to sell wireless service online only. They cut out the cost of retail stores and pass those sweet savings directly to you. For anyone who hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. I was hesitant about having to get a new phone and a new phone number, but with Mint, you can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone and your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. Mint Mobile gives you the best rate whether you're buying for one or for a family, and at Mint, families start at 2 lines. All plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and to get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That is mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
I don't know. Yeah, you have those 2 first good years. You start to figure out that you have this honey hole, but then you're putting a lot of pressure on that spot. And so I don't know. Going to go to a new spot. It's going to be more of a hike to get back to, so it should be a little bit less pressure. I don't think that the mountain I was hunting got a lot of pressure, but definitely more than where I'm going to go. I'm going to go up there. It doesn't have quite the alpine expanse as some of the other peaks, but definitely has some good lanes, and it's some great habitat for deer. So that's going to be this year's plan. If it works out, I'm a genius. If it doesn't work out, I will say, hey, if you've shot a buck within the first couple days of the opener 3 years in a row, why would you go somewhere else? Well, I don't know. Maybe that's just having the bountiful population as well as a whole bunch of different options. That's why I'm going to go somewhere else. But so yeah, that's the plan. It is a little bit difficult to scout some of the stuff. you always have the fear of wondering if someone else is going to be there. So you got to kind of look at some of the access points and see if it's on the main road or how many spurs. And then if you've been out that road, just see if that road is still viable. Some of the Onyx and the Google Maps, they have older pictures. And so you're looking at a picture of a road that looks totally good and legit and a clear cut that looks nice and young. So you might be able to hike it up pretty good. But if those images are, even 5 years old, there could be a lot of change in there. Some of those roads that you think you can, take a whole vehicle up there, like they're just choked with alders now, and maybe you can fit a four-wheeler in between. So that can be difficult. If you are on foot, you kind of like that sort of stuff because it kind of keeps the people who are on the four-wheelers away. It's pretty disheartening when you're heading up a mountain and you're hiking on foot and someone else speeds by on a four-wheeler, or you see four-wheeler tracks and you think, oh man. But a lot of the spots, the mountains are big enough to where if you get to a spot and you see that someone else has gone right, you can usually go left and there's just a ton of terrain for you. There are a couple spots where it's just like one ridge and really you'd have to go past that person to get to somewhere else. And so you might be corking them and that's not really what you want to do. I mean, it's Southeast Alaska. There's so much space. I don't know. Yes, you have every right to go to these spots because it's public land, but you don't necessarily have to be a jerk about it. Does it make you a jerk? Maybe it's not illegal to walk past someone, but yeah, I don't know. So, spot that I'm going at, not super high. I'm gonna have to hike through some muskeg and some old growth to get there, but the ridge looks pretty nice. It, like I said, doesn't have as much of the alpine, which is a little bit of a concern, but it does have some really nice open shooting lanes. It is a little bit more off from where other people might go, and I think is a spot that may have pushed some, or the bucks may have been pushed down to this area. There's been some activity in the area, so we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's about all I got. Excited to get back to Alaska, and then Abby comes up on the 5th, so my wife and I will go out for a mountain goat. Hopefully, if all goes well with the deer. So exciting times. You get really fired up for August, thinking about it all year, and then it happens, and it goes so stinking quick. I don't think any month goes faster than August. You look forward to it, and then you just feel like you're hunting all the time, and it makes it tough to do like a preview and a recap because you got, by the time, if you were to do a preview on a Wednesday and then a recap on the next Wednesday, you may have hunted 2 more times in between. So it's tough to kind of get all that stuff in there. So yeah, I guess maybe do more podcasts and recap every little hunt. I don't know. So we'll see how it goes. Thanks for listening. Make sure you go to themediocrealaskan.com. I moved my website over from WordPress to Squarespace, and I've added some other sections to it. There's some travel tips in there about getting to Prince of Wales, stuff to kind of look for, and also some hunting stuff. I compiled the fees for hunting Sitka blacktail and black bear, tag price, and some seasons and some stuff about that. And then also I added an issues section where you can look at some of the issues regarding halibut, hunter image, loss of hunter access, the roadless rule, which you hear a lot about in Southeast Alaska wolves. So some of those issues, it's articles not written by me, just stuff that I've kind of collected and compiled. Sometimes you'll go on Instagram and you'll see someone's story and you can swipe up and read the article. And then you want to go back to the article, but the story is now gone. And so where was that article? And so I'm trying to compile some of that sort of stuff. So you can kind of go back and read stuff. So that's at themediocrealaskan.com. You can also purchase my book, A Miserable Paradise, there. And that'll about do it. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time.